Today we'll use some color words to guide our conversation, but I don't want you to get hung up on these words themselves because we're going to use these words about colors to make some fun idioms that we can use in any conversation. Did you catch my phrasal verb in there? Hung up? Well, it's going to be in this video a few different times, so listen for it. Listen for the phrasal verb hung up, and then wait to the end, and I'll try to explain it a little more clearly if you don't catch the context. Hi, I'm Phil from Mayak. I teach here in the Czech Republic, and I'm looking forward to coming along today and bringing some hope and help on your English journey. Okay, my first question today, using color, is just a really simple one. It's kind of a childish one, but let's just go with it. When you were a kid, did you like to color? Or do you even today like to color? I did like to color when I was a kid, and even at university, I remember coloring was kind of a stress reliever for me. When studying got to be a bit too stressful, I would take out a coloring book and I would color. How about you? Did you often use coloring books to color when you were a kid, or did you just like to take a piece of blank white paper and make your own creation? And how did you color? Did you like to use colors, markers, colored pencils? I don't know, something else? And since we're talking about coloring, did you used to get hung up on coloring inside the lines and making everything look just perfect? Honestly, I think I did get hung up on trying to color inside the lines and make it look great, but I wasn't very good at that. My coloring was not very good, and I regularly colored outside of the lines. Some people would say that's a sign of creativity. I was just kind of a messy colorer, I think. On the topic of colors, what do you think of little white lies? Little white lies. Do they really hurt people? Are they forgivable? Well, I do think lying is wrong, and probably most people would agree with me, but it's also true that little white lies don't often hurt somebody. So what do we do with it? In fact, most people would say they say little white lies to protect somebody's feelings. So in that way, we could say they're good, maybe? We might hear of someone not telling all the details of a disease that someone has because we don't want them to lose hope. Or we might say a bit of an untruth just to spare somebody's feelings. That's kind. But I wonder if it's always necessary. And I wonder if sometimes we could trust people more with the whole truth, or more of the truth at least. What do you think? Okay, what's something you do once in a blue moon? This is something you don't do very often. In fact, you actually would say you do this very, very infrequently, almost never. One of the little simple pleasures that I have in life that I love is to take a really good book that I like and go to a coffee shop and order a coffee and just sit there for a while and just read quietly, relax, watch other people. I love this. But because of the way my life is right now, I don't have as much time for that. And so I could really say this fun thing that I like to do is something I just do once in a blue moon now. I used to do it more often, but now I just do it once in a blue moon. What's something that you almost never do, or something really infrequent? It could be something that you enjoy doing, like my example, or it could be something you don't like doing, but you could still say, I do it once in a blue moon. Has a difficult or devastating thing or event ever happened to you just out of the blue? Did something happen to you, like from out of nowhere, that you just weren't expecting, maybe to you or to your family? We adopted our son, and this whole process took years. We were hoping and praying for this child that we would adopt, and we'd already been in the process for a few months. Maybe months and months. But then, out of the blue, the phone rang. It was our agency, and they were calling to tell us that they had what they thought would be maybe a perfect match for us. And they were right. And the next few days were just a complete whirlwind. We didn't even know what end was up. But in just a couple days, we met our son. And even though this was a long process, and we expected this long process, that phone call was something that was completely out of the blue. On that Monday afternoon, we did not expect a phone call. Do you see the world more as black and white or more as gray? Which kind of a person are you? I think it's pretty common for kids to maybe start life a bit more black and white. There's either this or that. There's right and wrong. And I would say often as we grow up, we start to see a few more gray areas of our life and the lives of other people around us. We see that maybe not everything is quite as simple and cut and dried as we thought it was. For me, there are some things in my life that are still very black and white, very clear, yes and no, right and wrong. But there are a lot of areas in my life that have become maybe more gray because I've had more lived experience. I've experienced more things myself. I've seen other people's experience with problems and pain, and I recognize that there are some things that maybe aren't so black and white in some people's lives. But I still know a lot of people who get really hung up on the right answer, the yes or the no, the right or the wrong. Which one is it? There must be one. And sometimes there is, but sometimes there isn't. And some people have a really hard time dealing with the gray that is in their life. And it can be easy to get hung up on that. So I just finished with it. Did you catch hung up just then? And I think one other time I used the phrasal verb hung up. So what does it mean? Did you catch the meaning? It means to be extremely interested in or worried by a particular thing and just spend a lot of time thinking about it. You're just stuck there. So I encourage you today, don't get hung up on the English you don't know. Go out today and use the English that you do know. Use your English. Have a good day.